Hi, I'm Megan Kuhn with Powerhouse Real Estate. We're talking about buyer transactions and the process of purchasing a home. This is part 2, so if you missed part 1, go back and watch it. Today we're going to talk about writing an offer as well as looking for your next home. So when you start the process, you're going to get pre-approved, just like we talked about before, and then we're going to start looking at homes. This is the fun part, right? We get to tour lots of homes that are available that meet your criteria. So when you find a home that you love, you want to send it to me as your real estate agent, and we will get it scheduled to go and take a look at it in person. Pictures don't ever do a home justice, so don't count something out just because the pictures look bad. You'll start to get the hang of it as we get through the process, and we won't have to see every home that's listed, but if it meets your criteria and it's in a location that you really like, it's always worth taking a look at. The other part of that is that sometimes the pictures can do an injustice. We might get to a home and the home is not at all what you expected from the picture. It could be in a lot worse condition than what the pictures might show. So we want to make sure to take a good look at the property so that we can really see for yourselves if it's something that you really want to consider. Once we walk through the property and you've fallen in love, we're going to write an offer on it so that you can purchase the home. Now, there's a lot that comes with this, and it really depends on the individual situation. But in most cases, we're going to write an offer, and it's going to include a purchase price, the dates, and maybe we can get your closing costs covered by the seller as well. It just depends on the situation. Now, this is where your agent working with your lender is really going to come into play, because we're going to work closely to make sure that you understand what you're getting into when we offer a price. You know what your monthly payment is based on our offer, as well as we know that you can afford the down payment and the closing costs if necessary. Now, before we write an offer, we're going to want to run comparable properties so that we know that we're offering a good amount on this property. The list price kind of becomes irrelevant at this point because we really want to know what the home is worth, not just what they chose to list it for. So as we do this, we're going to really pin down a number that you're comfortable paying for that particular property, and then we can write an offer that goes along with what you're comfortable with. As we go into writing an offer, there are pieces of the offer that we need to know from you in order to write it as you want it written. So a couple of those things we need to know are how much earnest money you want to put down. Earnest money is a deposit that you make right as your offer is accepted. It could be released to the seller. However, you have a lot of opportunities to get this back as far as inspection, financing and appraisal, and other deadlines. So this is something that we'll work through as we go through the contract, but we do need to know the amount that you'd like to put down. We'll also help you pin that down based on the price range and what's typical for that price range as far as earnest money goes. Another piece that we'll want to know is obviously your purchase price. This is something that you have to feel comfortable with, and you have to feel comfortable with the monthly payment that comes with it. Really, that's what you're most concerned about, is what your monthly payment is going to be, so we'll work with your lender to get that amount. We'll also include a home warranty in your purchase. The home warranty is going to be paid for by the seller, and this will be provided to you for a whole year after you purchase the property. So what this covers is things like your air conditioning and your furnace, those types of units that if they go out in that first year, you just have to pay a service fee and the technician will come out and replace anything for free. So we want to make sure we include that. If things are old, we don't have to worry so much about getting them replaced by the seller as much as we can just really work with the seller to get that home warranty so that you have full coverage for a year. And then the last thing that we'll really need to talk to you about are dates. We want to make sure that we can get an inspection done and that we're able to get an appraisal done and then close in a time that's comfortable for you. If there's a lot going on in your life, if you have any vacations planned, we need to know so that we can plan this and schedule things around your schedule and make sure that we have plenty of time, but that also we can wrap it up in a time that is good for the seller as well. Once we have the offer signed and completed, we're going to submit it to the seller so that they can review it and decide if it's the offer that they want to accept. This is where your agent really comes into play. We're going to make sure that you're presented in the very best light and make sure that your offer is presented in a way that the seller understands and that they want to accept your offer. All right, that pretty much covers writing an offer and looking at houses. If you guys have any questions, please send me a message. If you're ready to start looking for homes in Utah, send me a DM. Let's get the process started. Otherwise, stay tuned for part 3 where we talk about going under contract.